Quo Vadis, 1951, is one of the greatest historical epics ever made, blending the grandeur of ancient Rome with the personal, emotional journey of its characters. Directed by Mervyn LeRoy and based on Henryk Sienkiewicz's novel, Quo Vadis offers not only a stunning visual experience, but also an exploration of complex themes like the clash between power and faith, the transformation of character, and the eternal struggle between good and evil. Set during the reign of the tyrannical Emperor Nero, the film delves into the early days of Christianity and examines the way personal belief challenges societal norms and even the oppressive forces of an empire. With grand visuals, a stirring score, and strong performances, Quo Vadis still resonates with audiences over 70 years after its release. The narrative of Quo Vadis is set in ancient Rome during the 1st century AD, a time when the Roman Empire, having reached the zenith of its power, was also grappling with profound internal and external struggles. The film portrays this historical period through the lens of two primary characters, Marcus Vinicius and Lygia, whose interactions serve as both a romantic plotline and a powerful commentary on the rise of Christianity against the backdrop of Imperial Rome's decadence. It is in the tension between these two worlds, the pagan Roman Empire and the nascent Christian movement, that the film finds its dramatic core. Rome, as depicted in Quo Vadis, is a city at the peak of its power, but also at the precipice of its moral collapse. This duality is key to understanding the underlying themes of the film. The city is magnificent, its streets filled with bustling marketplaces, grand temples, opulent palaces, and the commanding presence of the Colosseum. Rome's architecture is a testament to its imperial might, and in many ways, the set design of the film mimics this grandeur. The structures, the costumes, and the vast outdoor scenes give a sense of the overwhelming size and power of the Roman Empire. Yet, this beauty is tinged with an underlying sense of wrath, represented by the excesses of Emperor Nero's rule, the lavishness of the elite, and the growing corruption of Rome's moral fabric. While the Romans appear powerful and imposing, their political and social structures are revealed to be fragile and prone to collapse under the weight of corruption and indulgence. Nero, as the emblem of this corruption, stands as both the political leader and a man driven by ego, paranoia, and self-indulgence. His reign is marked by cruelty, irrationality, and an unquenchable desire for fame and adoration. Nero is portrayed as a man so obsessed with his own importance that he is willing to destroy his own empire for the sake of his personal legacy. In this sense, the splendor of Rome becomes an illusion, a false facade that conceals the empire's decay from within. At the center of the film is Marcus Vinicius, played by Robert Taylor, a Roman general returning from military campaigns in Britain. Marcus embodies the archetypal Roman soldier, strong, disciplined, loyal to his emperor, and deeply embedded in the values of Roman imperialism. He is a man of war and conquest, whose worldview is shaped by his military career and the power dynamics of the Roman Empire. When Marcus first arrives in Rome, he is a man entirely devoted to the empire, believing in its superiority and its divine right to rule. His worldview begins to shift, however, when he meets Lygia, played by Deborah Kerr, a beautiful Christian hostage whose beliefs and values are in stark contrast to the Roman way of life. Lygia, a former princess of the conquered kingdom of the Lygians, has been adopted into a Christian family and her strong faith becomes the focal point of her character. For Marcus, her quiet strength, purity, and unwavering devotion to her faith represent an entirely new way of understanding strength. It is through his growing affection for Lygia that Marcus begins to question his loyalty to the Roman Empire and to reconsider what true power is. Marcus's transformation is one of the film's most compelling arcs. He is a man who has built his identity on loyalty to Rome, but his encounter with Lygia forces him to confront the limitations of the empire. His love for her sparks a journey of self-discovery that challenges everything he has ever known. As he becomes more involved with the Christians and witnesses their willingness to suffer for their beliefs, Marcus begins to realize that there is a strength in faith that surpasses the military power and political control he has always known. This transformation is essential to the thematic fabric of the film, as it underscores the idea that true strength lies in the ability to surrender to something greater than oneself, even if it means risking everything for one's beliefs. Lygia's role in Quo Vadis is vital not only to the plot but also to the film's deeper exploration of faith, sacrifice, and personal conviction. Unlike Marcus, whose life is governed by material and political concerns, Lygia represents the quiet, enduring strength of the early Christian faith. She is unyielding in her devotion, even in the face of the immense suffering imposed on her by Nero and his regime. Throughout the film, Lygia embodies the Christian virtues of love, forgiveness, and perseverance. She is willing to endure imprisonment, torture, and even death rather than renounce her faith. In many ways, Lygia is the spiritual center of the film, her faith acting as a beacon of hope for both Marcus and the other early Christians who are persecuted by Nero. Lygia's character is not one of passive submission, but one of active resistance to the forces of oppression. Her steadfastness in the face of cruelty makes her an emblem of the Christian ideal of suffering for the sake of the greater good. Deborah Kerr's portrayal of Lygia is sensitive and moving, capturing both the vulnerability and the inner strength of a woman who refuses to compromise her beliefs. Lygia's journey, marked by her trials and suffering, forms the emotional core of the film, as she serves as a living symbol of the transformative power of faith. Nero, as portrayed by Peter Ustinov, is one of the most memorable characters in Quo Vadis, and Ustinov's performance is one of the highlights of the film. Nero is shown as a man who is both a tyrant and a performer, a ruler who desires to be adored and admired, but who is also deeply insecure and unstable. He seeks to control every aspect of Roman life, from the arts to religion, and his rule is defined by both extravagance and cruelty. Nero's desire for immortality drives him to commit horrific acts, including the persecution of Christians, whom he scapegoats for the burning of Rome. Ustinov's portrayal of Nero is both chilling and darkly comic, as the emperor's grandiose behavior often veers into the absurd. His delusions of grandeur, combined with his willingness to kill anyone who poses a threat to his power, make him a terrifying figure. Yet there is a tragic quality to his character as well. Nero believes that he is an artistic genius, a godlike figure who deserves the admiration of the entire world. His overwhelming ego, however, blinds him to the moral decay of his empire, and he continues to push forward with reckless abandon, ultimately leading to his own downfall. One of the most iconic scenes in Quo Vadis is the burning of Rome, a sequence that serves as both a literal event in the story and a metaphor for Nero's own mental and moral disintegration. Nero's decision to set fire to Rome, driven by his desire to rebuild the city in his own image, is a powerful visual representation of his madness. The flames that consume the city symbolize the destructive forces unleashed by Nero's unchecked ambition, and the scene serves as a reminder of the consequences of absolute power when it is wielded without regard for morality or the common good. The early Christians in Quo Vadis are depicted not only as victims of persecution but also as active agents of resistance. The film emphasizes that Christianity is not merely a religion of passive suffering but also a transformative force capable of changing the lives of individuals and the world around them. The early Christians in the film are shown to be deeply committed to their faith, often at great personal cost. Their willingness to face persecution and martyrdom rather than renounce their beliefs is one of the key moral pillars of the story. The portrayal of the Christian martyrs in Quo Vadis serves as a stark contrast to the decadence and cruelty of Nero's court. While Nero and his followers indulge in excess and pleasure, the Christians live simple, humble lives, placing their faith in God rather than in the material world. In this sense, the early Christian community becomes a symbol of hope and redemption, offering a way forward in a world dominated by power, violence, and corruption. Their example of faith and sacrifice provides a moral compass for the other characters, including Marcus, who begins to recognize the value of their teachings. One of the most striking aspects of Quo Vadis is its visual style. The film was made during the heyday of Hollywood's epic historical dramas, and its production values are extraordinary. The sets are lavish and meticulously designed, capturing the grandeur of ancient Rome in a way that feels both authentic and awe-inspiring. The use of Technicolor is particularly effective in creating a vivid, almost dreamlike representation of the ancient world. The bright reds and golds of Nero's palace, the green of the gardens, and the stark contrast of the dark, subterranean catacombs all serve to reinforce the thematic undercurrents of the film: light versus darkness, excess versus humility, and life versus death. The visual compositions in Quo Vadis also emphasize the tension between the individual and the empire. The vast, sweeping shots of Rome, with its monumental structures and bustling streets, convey the immensity of the empire and the insignificance of any one individual in the face of its power. Yet, when the film focuses on the personal journeys of its characters, it often uses close-up shots and intimate framing to convey the emotional stakes of their struggles. This contrast between the epic and the personal is one of the film's most effective techniques, allowing it to explore grand historical themes while also remaining deeply connected to the individual human experience. Upon its release, Quo Vadis became a massive success, both commercially and critically. The film was praised for its ambitious scope, its strong performances, and its technical achievements. It was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, and won one for Best Art Direction. Its success helped pave the way for other historical epics of the 1950s and 1960s, such as Ben-Hur, 1959, and The Ten Commandments, 1956, which would continue the trend of biblical and historical films that dominated Hollywood during this period. Quo Vadis is not just a historical epic. It is a timeless exploration of faith, power, and the human condition. The film's portrayal of the early Christians, their unwavering belief, and their willingness to face martyrdom for their faith has resonated with audiences for decades. In a world often dominated by the pursuit of power and material success, Quo Vadis remains a powerful reminder of the enduring strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of belief. In conclusion, Quo Vadis is an extraordinary film that combines historical drama, romance, and spiritual themes to create a cinematic experience that is both visually stunning and emotionally compelling. Through its compelling characters, sweeping narrative, and powerful exploration of the clash between empire and faith, Quo Vadis continues to stand as one of the greatest films ever made. Its message of love, sacrifice, and redemption remains as relevant today as it was in 1951, making it a classic that continues to inspire audiences worldwide.